Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls closed beta came and went, and I thought I would make this video to give you guys my initial impressions of only playing 2 days of the beta. Yes, I started late, leave me alone. As always you guys, if you guys like it, give it a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you guys thought of this video. And without further ado, here are my 2 days worth of playing the beta coming up right now. After witnessing the announcement trailer for this game, I was stoked because Arc System Works are behind this game, former creators of Guilty Gear Strive and Dragon Ball FighterZ, along with Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising. So naturally, I was super hyped for this beta, but I also came up with 5 key points I would like to go over throughout the whole video, which are network quality / rollback, overall feel of the combat, team synergy, the system mechanics, and pacing and neutral. As always, I will have gameplay footage rolling in the back, and if you guys want to follow me at my Twitch, it will be here on the screen, which is twitch.tv/thehand of steel, along with the link being down in the description of the video and comment section. Alright, so kicking things off, we will be going over network quality and rollback in particular. So, what were my impressions of the overall rollback? Honestly, it was pretty good, and unironically, my first exposure to Arc System's rollback netcode is actually Guilty Gear Strive, where I played the beta and absolutely fell in love with all that, and by the time, I experienced it the first time, Dragon Ball FighterZ was actually still using delay-based netcode, so yeah, you can only imagine my exposure was practically night and day. So overall, I want to say I might have done, maybe 10, 15 games, maybe even 20. I did do a lot of games during the closed beta, but regardless, I actually enjoyed it. There's not a lot of complaints there, felt really good, responsive. There has been one guy in particular, I don't know if he was playing on Wi-Fi, and the internet situation was really bad. However, it was interesting to say the least. Again, I'll put it up in the background here, but again, new computer, everything. It was so bad. I played this on my PlayStation for reference, by the way. It was so bad, it looked damn near like a stop motion. I don't know what the hell type of crap he was running, but it was literally stop motion. Back really tried to hold it together. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong again. The match is currently playing behind me, but it was bad. I don't know if I even won that, to be honest, but it was bad, as you can see right now. So overall, really great experience overall. No complaints there. So solid netcode altogether. And to the next point is overall feel of the combat. So the combat felt interesting. So this is where I start to really give my critiques about this whole experience of the closed beta. Again, 2 days worth. It wasn't bad. It was definitely different. Again, I'm coming from games like Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising and Arc Systems and Dragon Ball FighterZ, so naturally I was expecting something similar to that nature. Again, not one-to-one experience, or not experience, but comparison, you know what I'm saying, and it was fine. But again, I will be covering this later, but I'll glaze over just for a moment here. The team synergy was interesting, honestly. I don't know how else to say without being super negative about it. Again, I'll go over this a little bit later, but for now, I'm gonna put a pin on it and just say it was interesting, to say the least. But however, overall flow of the game just was really good. And, I can't complain, though. The combo structure and how you do, specific specials and everything definitely was weird. I feel like they oversimplified the inputs there. Again, not a bad thing. I'm a one-handed gamer, so to each their own. I just felt like it was a little too simple, because I'm super used to very technical inputs, 2, 3, 6, medium, heavy, light, and all these things, right? Or a traditional DP input. That wasn't here. Instead, they, for whatever reason, put it to it was either L2 or R2 or R1 or L1 and L2, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I felt like that was such a weird call. Again, I get it, the one button that calls in all the teammates and all that is assigned for on the X button. Again, we'll be going over that later. But yeah, I just feel like it was a weird call. I get it. They want to be, bold and try new things, and by all means, trying new things is a great thing. I don't object that in the slightest, but like in terms of how you fight and everything, it was not bad. Definitely felt weird. A lot of people essentially got used to the beta a lot more quickly than I even got used to it. Though I do like other elements that we will be going over, which leads me to go to my next point, which is team synergy. Alright, so this is where it gets a little weird. Again, I did talk about this earlier. And honestly, team synergy, how you tag in and everything, it felt fine. Again, I might be spoiled at the rapidness and overall, intuitiveness that Dragon Ball FighterZ definitely got right the very first time. And over, the whole lifespan of Dragon Ball FighterZ, if you guys don't know, we will be getting Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku, specifically adult version, in Dragon Ball FighterZ as an unexpected DLC, so I will be covering that, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, for I do try to cover a lot of anime games. I try to be variety, but again, a whole other topic for another day. I'm getting sidetracked. The whole thing I was going about was team synergy, and I feel like FighterZ did it better, in my honest opinion. And, the thing is, the best way I could try to explain it, right? I don't know if I'm gonna be putting up, slowdown footage here, or just kind of let it rock. If you guys know, Anyway, but, when you wanna, transition from one character to another, I think it's really, really sick that it gives you that opportunity, to essentially have them assist, right? And then you switch to that character. So, for an example, you could go from, the lead character, which, let's say, you are Captain America, you call in Spider-Man, say he was down X, and, you call him in, and then that happens, and then it's just, the time in which you want to swap characters from that point on when you call it Spider-Man, it feels weird. The flow definitely feels a little jarring, to be quite frank with you, honestly. And it's just, well, really off-putting, to be honest, and this is where I start to put in a little bit of, criticism here. And, again, it was very reminiscent to how, overall, fighting and all that just feels like a homage to Dragon Ball FighterZ. It definitely feels different, especially with the team synergy, but I think what really screws up my brain in a lot of capacities is just, a one-button, Dragon Ball traits in terms of, calling in assists, and then wanting to swap out. That in between, I'm okay, I want to be Spider-Man, or, I want to be Ghost Rider, or Iron Man, or whatever, right? And then you have to go ahead and essentially hold that button to commit to it. And let's also not forget that they did essentially implement a counter system, basically, to get them off of you, and it's quite intuitive in that way, honestly, and I do enjoy that. And the resource management and all that is definitely super simplistic and everything, excuse me. And in that aspect, it's a really cool, flashy, team combo in certain situations that you get it in. Even with the callback for Team Supers and all that, that is still around, again, in comparison to FighterZ. I feel like they did it better in FighterZ compared to here. Again, I know what I'm saying is super controversial or a hot take based thing, but hey, those are my honest opinions, again, coming from Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue, and Dragon Ball FighterZ, all those games. So in my own right, I am being a little hard in the game, but you know what? Hey, that's what constructive criticism is all about. But I'm getting off topic, which leads me to the next point, which is tag system mechanics. Okay, so we did go over this, but I will be putting my thoughts further on that. So, tag system mechanics, it's fine. I kind of mostly covered that earlier, but, I think what trips me up, and like I mentioned earlier, is the fact of, you want it to be instant, again, within Dragon Ball FighterZ, you do a code, or I should say 236 input with any of the following, which would be light, medium, or heavy, right? And that's instant, and it feels safe, right? Whereas you do it in here in this game, It feels like it's a gamble, quite legitimately, and you know, I can't get over the fact that, like, oh, I want to be Spider-Man now, and you're currently Iron Man or Captain America, and then it's just that weird jarring in between prompt and all that. I probably did that like maybe combined of like maybe 50 times or something like that, maybe even more. And I feel like out of those 50 times, it maybe misregistered. I want to say 20 of the times, right? So, in terms of odds wise, 3 times out of 10, it misregistered, which again, not a bad thing. I want to preface by saying that it's not a bad thing or whatever. So, going to my next point, and that is pacing and neutral. Okay, so what did I think about the pacing and neutral? Again, I will be making comparisons to past games. It did to some degree, in a very poetic way, felt like Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. It felt very grounded, right? Whereas Spiders was very heavy, reliant on neutral in terms of like super dashing and all these things, and movement was 100% just unhinged. Like, you can teleport all over the damn screen. You can freaking super dash and do all these like really trippy things. Again, only available to freaking the Dragon Ball anime, and they replicated it beautifully. But I digress. Like in here, it felt very grounded, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that it does feel grounded. You do have micro air dashes, so that's a plus again. But like how you like space things out and all that, and how you engage, it felt fine. It didn't necessarily come off as like like really weird or anything. And don't get me wrong, I really like how do you put it? Like I said, grounded based games. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. But what bothers me, and I've kind of mentioned this to my other friend, I'll have to go back and look to see what it was, and I'll add, my correction here. I forgot what game it was, but oh, okay, I remember now. So every time the round starts, okay, and this is where I go on a tangent. Why in the bloody heck does it literally let you freaking just straight up move as it's like ready, set, fight? Why does it let you do that? I don't get why. That's a thing. Apparently, my friend, I'm not gonna mention his name for many reasons, but he said apparently 2XKO did that. And if you guys want to watch that video, I did cover that. By now, it should already be out. So yeah, links will be down in the description of the video. But I digress. Apparently, 2XKO does that where you can move in neutral. I don't remember that. I could be 100% wrong. But me personally, for a team-based like fighting game, I don't like that because it's way too damn easy, right? That's another thing I forgot to go over, which is, okay, it's not a bad thing that you get characters fast. The pacing of the game is fine and all that, but I just feel like it's a little bit easy, a little too easy to do it. Again, I understand, 4-team thing, they're trying to figure things out, I get it, but like, why push a person in a way that's going to be a perfect setup and all that? I literally, half of the time, have to do like a neutral jump to try to like make sure they don't try and attack me in a frame plus advantage type of thing. So it's weird, it's stupid. I never really cared for it. So I guess you could consider this video kind of like a rant of like me not really liking the beta, and that's where I'm going to conclude there, where I wasn't really all of that impressed with the beta. And if anything, I was very disappointed with the beta, honestly. And again, like all the other aspects of the game, how you get characters on your team, how you go about certain things, that's fine. Like, I know they're still figuring things out, but like my biggest gripe with the beta from when I played is you shouldn't be able to move when it's on the countdown and saying ready, fight type of thing. I don't agree with that. And whether 2XKO does that, okay, fine, but the difference there is that it's a 2v2 based team fighting game. So I don't really agree with that per se, but it's whatever. each their own. So with that, we have reached the end of the video. If you guys like it, give it a like, subscribe, and comment down below on what you guys thought of my overall rant of the 2 days of me playing this beta. Was it good? Was I too harsh? Am I being too, over analyzing, I guess you could call it? Let me know down in the comments below. And with that, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.